Absolutely. What's good? What's good, New York? It's busy in this house. Nigga, I be pimping. And straight up, I'll keep you limping. Got 100 G's in the back of the kitchen. Go and fetch my fucking legend. Oh, this ain't a game, it's a mission. This ain't a cat, it's a rat. So don't fucking with me, cause I'm a duck in the deck. Hey yo, what's poppin'? What's good? The only two things keeping me sane and helping to manage my mental pain is smoking some Crip, Mary Jane, and fucking that fine bitch, don't remember her name. Oh yeah, that's the bitch I'm about to tame. I'm like, yo shorty, you watching the game? It's so damn easy, all bitches the same. Any girl I want, I'll pick and choose. Don't believe me, bet me, and you'll fucking lose. Yeah, I got a knack for talking smack, but I don't just talk, I walk the walk. Niggas being slick, better watch the back. Especially you dope boys trying to flip the stack. You niggas never even seen crack. You think you're hard? You fucking dog. Your father's name is Gerard. It's the same. Any girl I want, I'll pick and choose. Don't believe me, bet me, and you'll fucking lose. Yeah, I got a knack for talking smack. I don't just talk, I walk the walk. Niggas being slick, better watch the back. Especially you dope boys trying to flip a stack. You niggas never even seen a goddamn crack. You think you're hard? You fucking dodge. Your father's name is Gerard, and Gerard's a spoiled brat with a guard. That fat waste of space, 100%. A retard, a lazy motherfucking lord. Miles away when I'm out of snitch, and I don't fuck with that. If you's a snitch, you's a bitch. And snitches get stitches straight up. You hear them, nigga? In the olden days, people always accused of me. Damn, man. Close enough to smell you, bitch. I can sense from miles away when I'm in. Always neglect, forever he gets zero respect. Sometimes I'm asked to forgive and forget, and that's the kind of shit to make a nigga upset. If I'm gonna forgive and forget, it's gonna be something you didn't expect. I'd have you feeling like you were stunned. As I bust in with my gun, I'd take a step toward you, get the vibe that you're a threat. This is how it go down. Okay, ready, set. People, damn, man, close enough to smell you, bitch. I can sense from miles away when I'm out of snitch, and I don't fuck with that. If you's a snitch, you's a bitch. And snitches get stitches straight up. You hear them, niggas? In the olden days, people always accused of people than fucking I was president. I create the snitch trials, man. Fucking put a bitch, goddamn snitch 6 feet under. Can't help but wonder, will one day a pig come and say, I'm here to take you away to jail. Only this time not for a day. Shit, nigga, this time I'm here to stay. So I mean that. God's plan. He happened to make me the fucking man. It's crazy laying back in bed, high as fuck and getting head. Money in my wallet, open my doors. Anyone to help is fucking hopeless. All the success I had and money I've hustled. Girls that I fucked, milfs I've acquired. Customers and so drugs too. Better not be wired. Fucking, I ain't paranoid. I'm chill as fuck. Bitch, I'm too laid back. Shit, I better sit up. Any day of the week, any time of the day, you find a spot and I'll roll the J. Let's take twos and do puff puff pass. This joint looks fat and really nicely rolled. Very impressive considering the wind and the cold. Been rolling up doobies since I was a kid. Fucking, first time my mom's found my stash, I fucking hid. I was so pissed the weed she found was as green as Sid. Yeah. You know Sid, the green guy from that show Duck Funny. I wonder what happened to that show. I guess it made no money. My flow is crazy good. My swag is retarded. I'm a nice guy, but don't ever get me started. I rep all day for my city of New York. Mama told me when I was little, I was brought by the fucking stork. Shout out to L.I. Nassau County, throwing up to all my sexy GC bitches. What up, yup? Hey girl, I'm down for whatever, as long as we together. Whatever you're thinking, I'm up for some drinking. Or if you want to chill, let's both take a pill. Just vibe and relax and have free will. Now let's smoke some bud on top of these pills. Afterwards, I'ma feel like I got brand new grills. Every day I'm ballin'. When I roll by, bitches start crawling. If you ain't crawling, nigga, we're brawling. If we be brawling, soon you be falling. On your face is a fucking disgrace, cause I'll kill your family and leave no trace. What? Nigga, please, I need my space. Living fine on my own, haha, in your face. Nigga, you can't break me, my mind is set. I do what I do and I live with no regret. I get in trouble, but don't get upset. I've been sent away a bunch and had to roll with the punch for choices I made. Acted like a grenade, causing too much damage to my life. Losing the girl I hope to be my wife. Having a wild trip on shrooms that would change my life. Going 80 in a 30, I wasn't too bright. I was trying to get home with all my might. Frankly, I wasn't thinking, is this bright? I wasn't thinking at all. This was Saturday night. And you know Saturday night is my time to ball. My night started out with me popping some bars, filling my pockets with tons of cigars, then of course smoking some weed. Followed by a Four Loko, which is liquid speed. To top off my night, I ate an eighth of mushrooms. It tastes alright. Fucking shit, man. I was brought to jail, tripping balls. My mom was stuck watching moving walls. Even though I was arrested for a DUI, my body felt like I could jump through the sky. When I asked if I regret what I did, I don't live with regrets like a kid. All regrets do is make you question your thinking. Think back on situations that have already happened. Anyway, I'm a believer that everything happens for a reason. I'm sure as a change of seasons, shit that happens to me, yeah, it sucks. But teaching at me how to make them bucks and be a man, I can have it much worse. I can live in Japan. Each time I've been sent away, I view it as being locked up. I eat this shit up like I can give a fuck. No shit don't change me. This shit don't faze me. I will not be shook. I'm a motherfucking crook. I was sent out west with the pills in my chest, which I swallowed that day to get the evidence away. I didn't OD. I was just being me, eating a lot of pills that I got for free. Bitches say I OD, nigga, you know I'm a G. Them bikes don't faze me. I can eat a whole bottle like 1, 2, 3. I'll say it again, I'm a straight up G. Absolutely no one can fuck with me. I roll the best damn blunts in NYC. Nigga, I don't fake shit, I just be me. Cause this ain't a game, it's a mission. So check in the kitchen for my 100 grand and my wide bottle of Volition. One day my homie just picked up mad weight. He was on his way home, running late. This nigga's name was Mike, and Mike was my boy. When we chilled, we always were filled with joy. Me and Mike were so alike in different ways. First off, we both smoked a shit ton of hippies. We both had our issues and our bad days. Got each other's back, fucking always. Now Mike had been arrested tons of times, never however with more than a dozen times. As Mike was arriving home, some junkie called him on the phone. After that call, Mike seemed happy. Maybe he thought this day wouldn't be so crappy. The junkie who called wanted lots of drugs. The deal was as simple as fucking stomping on bugs. When we arrived at the corner, the police quickly made a border. They trapped Mike in like a fucking loose quarter. The runner sent my friend up, got him locked up. 4 years of drinking tears. Revenge.